Okay, so this is a video about a high-level overview of the Arcadia system. The Arcadia system is a system that we're building as a team. It's a place where we can collaborate and more efficiently do the things that we're already doing manually, but then in an automated space in the DeFi industry. So this video is going to be an overview so everyone's on the same page about what the system architecture is, what its current form is, and maybe come up with ideas on how to improve the system and make it more powerful and work for them. So what is Arcadia? A good place to start is what it's not. It's not a bot or a product. It comes before that. It helps us create bots and products that will perform end tasks that we want to do. We can think of it as an environment or a toolbox. It will help us do things faster, cleaner, and smarter. It will help us see and automate things. It will be our eyes and ears in the crypto space, and it will help us see deeper patterns about what is actually going on, rather than staring at the screen and looking at graphs. It will give us a different view about what is happening in the DeFi world. It also contains some very useful artificial intelligence that we can mix and match to better help us see patterns and also link them to bots to really automate things and put things into production. So that's what it is. I'll first explain what I will talk about in this series of videos, and then I'll explain what I'll cover in this video. So I'll make a bunch of videos doing a deep dive on different subjects, and we are here right now, so I'll give a high-level overview. So this video is really about the mindset. It's about seeing what the general architecture is, what has already been built, so you can better help us, or you can better help thinking of new elements to the system and putting it into production faster. I will also cover the one element of the system, which is called Arcadia Vector. I'll cover that really quickly, and I'll cover the VERA models really quickly. I'll go into much deeper in other videos for these other subjects. In other videos, I'll also explain data exploration and UIs and workflows to make it more concrete, as in how we interact with the system, as well as all the semi-legal stuff. So how you can get involved, what your rights are with IPs. If you come up with an idea, it should be yours, and we should be able to profit off that together. So let's start with the high-level overview in this video. So I'll talk about the architecture, the layers of the system, and then I'll introduce these other concepts really quickly, and finally how to get involved. So the goal of the system is to make informed actions in the crypto DeFi space. So what do I mean with that? I mean, we should be informed through data that comes into the system. Those are our eyes and ears within the DeFi space. And then we should do some stuff with that data, some processing, then we should be able to take an action. So right now, the two actions that are in the system are trading and launching. So I have defined the input of the system, and then the output, the end goal of the system. In between, I've defined two more layers. So we take data from the world that comes in, we organize that data, we process that data, and we take action on it. This is really the main architecture of the system and how to think about it. So a little aside about the actual layers. Here you can see the layers again. I've given them names to know how to think about them. The layers themselves are really core to the entire architecture of the system. If anything is Arcadia, this is Arcadia. Different elements can be put in the systems. So with elements, I mean different programs or different bots, and the whole point of Arcadia is to give it a structure to work together better, both in our interaction with the system as a whole and in bots interacting with each other. So it goes on the idea that the sum of the parts is, or the system as a whole is more than the sum of its parts. So that if we can tie different bots and different strategies together, we can create a much more powerful and much more streamlined system than creating individual bots and individual automations within the DeFi space. So let's zoom in on the elements which are in the system now, but keep in mind that we can always add or remove elements from the system and combine them in different ways to create more powerful strategies. So let's start with our eyes and ears. This is really about what we see happening in the world, and that is with respect to taking actions that we want to do. So right now in the system, the actions that we want to do are trades and token launches. So we need to look for data that will help us make better trades and better launch tokens. And focusing on the first layer now, which are our eyes and ears of what's happening in the world, the only responsibility of this layer is to get the data. Just be aware of what is happening. Get data within the system. So I'm talking about APIs and scrapers, basically. Just getting raw data. It is not to interpret the data. It is not to make predictions. It's just being aware. So if somebody makes a trade anywhere in the world, this system needs, this layer needs to be aware that that person made that trade. The rest of the processing will come later. So what's in the system now is, I already mentioned, trades, token launches, tweets, Telegram groups, economic KPIs, and general trends. With general trends, I mean like the news cycle and what's trending on Twitter, etc. With economic KPIs, I mean like the consumer price index, the current inflation rates. What is happening in the larger economy generally has a big impact on what's happening in the DeFi space, so that's why we need to be aware of that. Telegram groups, I mean signal groups, but also just discussion groups. What are people talking about? What is bothering people? Are people bullish or bearish on a whole about the market? That also affects our trades and stuff like that, so that's why that's in there. Tweets is basically what's happening on Twitter. As you know, in the DeFi space, Twitter is really important, so that's why we track that. Coin launches is pretty self-explanatory, and trades is also pretty self-explanatory. So those are our eyes in the system right now. But if you can think of extra eyes and extra trading data sources, then you can also add those in here to extend the system. So actions is also pretty self-explanatory. Let's focus on these two middle layers now, which is how are we going to use this data to do the things that we want to do. So I've segmented them into two sections: storing the data and processing the data. Let's focus on storing the data first. So the first step is to clean the data and to link the data. So cleaning the data is for obvious reasons is going to be important, because if our data is not good, or if there's a lot of spam, that could view our vision of what is happening in the world, and that will lead to bad decisions being made and us not reaching our goals. So that happens in the database here, and so we clean the data and we link the data, and linking the data is the first step of transforming the raw data into actual intelligence. Because think about it, when we start linking the different launches and the different trades with the different traders and what is being said in the Telegram group, you're no longer kind of only looking at the raw data of what's happening, but you're also starting to see patterns in the data. So this layer transforms raw data into intelligence. it first enters a base database, which is just a Postgres relational database, which is set up to really quickly store and retrieve the data, but also to link the data together. So there's Intel in that already. But this primary database then dumps it to secondary databases, which will allow us to see patterns that are useful, that can be useful in getting insight in what is happening in the world. So here we start. We are already interpreting what is happening in the world. So we're getting intel. The next layer I've called the brain or the process is it's taking this intel, all this value that is being created by inferring and interpreting what is happening in the world, and it's starting to make predictions on what could happen, so we can take actions based on our predictions. So in a nutshell, that's what that is. So the responsibility of this final layer would be to take the intelligence and to translate that into actionable steps. This token seems good, therefore buy this token right now, for example, as a very simple example. But keep in mind that the system is set up to be modular. This is a trading environment and not one bot. So you can have different bots in this layer, different different prediction models, and then send it to Arc Vector. Yeah, but that's what it is in a nutshell. Now I'll very quickly introduce the Arc Vector program in Arcadia, which is the program that makes the trades. So you see kind of what is possible with this, and the VERA Impulse. So you can, because in VERA Impulse, I'm already doing some pre-processing, which arguably could be put into this organizing layer. But so I'll quickly go over that, so you can start to use that and come up with new ideas on how to capitalize on the intelligence that we know. So the Arc Vector system is basically our Phantom or our GMGN or our MetaMask. The reasons why we don't use those products is that it's very slow. We have to log into our browser, put in the contract address. That's one reason. While Arc Vector, it's private, it's fast, and it's all linked by an API. So it's crazy easy to link a VERA model or a Watts model to Arc Vector, that if VERA says we should buy it, maybe 100 milliseconds later it will actually buy it. The second reason is that Phantom only offers us a very limited type of order. In Phantom, all you can do is say buy this token right now. But Arcadia Vector will has many different types of orders. So I'll quickly go through the different types of orders, and you'll see what you can use them for. So I mentioned trade now. That is something you can do in Phantom. That is replicated here. Trade on market cap, which means that place this order in the system, and if this token hits this market cap plus or minus one sol, for example, then place a buy order. That's that type of order. Moving all-time high stop means that the vector system will track the all-time high of the token, and you set a threshold, let's say minus 5% or something like that. And if the price moves below 5% of the moving all-time high, then it will either buy or sell. Trade below or above a certain market cap point, which is the same as a limit or stop loss order. Trade if nothing happens, that's usually used for sells. That means that place this trade order now, watch what happens on this token. If no trades happen on this token for, let's say, 30 seconds, then sell. Buy, then sell, sell is a common pattern being used. So that's buy this token, then immediately place stop and loss orders. And trade on other wallets, in a nutshell, that's copy trading. I'll go into more depth in this in another video on exactly how to use it concretely, because each one of these blue boxes is a program on its own. Like I said, it's a trading environment. So you can use a vector by itself. You can use the launcher by itself. You can use either one of these data producers by itself. You can use the database by itself. So I'll go into more depth about that. VERA, I will glass over this really quickly because it's quite a complicated system. But VERA basically is a set of neural nets that will look at a token and then predict whether it's a good token to buy or a bad token to buy. It will do this based on some data. So how the data is being used is, or how the data is being produced is, it looks at a token timeline, which I've very crudely sketched here, where the token launches, and then it gathers some data on the trades coming in and some events happening, maybe in some groups, maybe it's being mentioned, maybe it's being pushed on like on Twitter. But the point is, it gathers data, and then it comes to a point where the VERA signal happens. So the signal is a point in time where it says, okay, I'm going to make a judgment now. I'm going to say that this token is worth buying or not. Where this signal happens is dependent on our configuration of something called a watcher. So this can be configured by us. A very simple way to configure it is to say if the token's age is more than 10 seconds. So for every token 10 seconds after launch, put that signal there, look at the data, and then make a prediction of how high the market cap would go. So here I've got listed how we can define this signal here. And if you think about this, this is a data set on its own. So we can get some very good intel when segmenting the data like this, because we're basically looking at a token and making a prediction whether it's going to be a good token or a bad token. And we all do that manually all the time. So this is a very good model for doing that in a data heavy environment like Arcadia. So that's why I included that in here. Another thing worth mentioning is the echelon mainline. So the way I drew it here, it seems like it's a very linear process. It goes from the eyes to the store to the brain to the hands, but in reality, every single program is connected to every other single program in the echelon mainline. So in reality, that means every single program is aware of what every other single program is doing almost in real time. I think in reality it's about 100 milliseconds latency because the information still needs to travel around the world, but it's almost in real time. So that means that if the trade scraper picks up a trade, every single system will be aware of that trade because it will dump it on the echelon mainline, and every single system will hear about it. Same for every other event that is happening in the system. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because this allows us to create very powerful feedback loops and very complex systems that can be super smart. So how can you contribute to the system? So it's to make it very explicit, you can add new programs. You can, even if you're not a coder, just having an idea of a new program somewhere is a lot of value. So for example, you can come up with new data sources. You can come up with new strategies on how to transform the intelligence into actionable steps. You can come up with a new way to visualize the data, which from my experience often happens in a very implicit way. I hear people talk and I hear people say like, I wish I could see all the tokens launched in the last 20 minutes, and I wish I could see their market cap, what they reached. Um, or you can think of new actions. Maybe the market's terrible right now, and maybe we just need to do something else to earn some money. And it's very easy to add an extra kind of action in here. So I have Telegram bot in here, but we can also add like a signal group or something like that, because it fits within the same pattern. We're using data, turning that data into intelligence, then turning that intelligence into actionable steps, and then pushing that information to a system to take some action. So a Telegram bot could easily become a signal channel, for example. That there could be other things that I haven't even thought of. So that's why I'm working together with other people, and that's why I'm making this video. So it I can help you kind of get a mindset of what to do. So that's it in a nutshell, and thanks for listening to the video. So let me exit my screen recorder. Okay, bye bye.